All right, how about these comments from Emma Hayes, newly in charge, of course, of the U.S. women's national team, got that Olympic gold medal to show for it. Quote, "Of course they're not." This was a question asked about women coaching in the men's game and if the men's game was ready. Of course they're not, otherwise it would have happened by now. Often people don't think that maybe a female can manage a dressing room of male characters. I manage about 25 men every day. They're just the staff I work with. I never thought the players would be the problem. I think players want to be coached, and if there's the best available coach just happens to be a female, they'll get their head around it, just like they did anything else in life. Kirk, what do you think? You agree with Emma Hayes here? The men's game not ready for a woman coach?
Per usual, I would say that Emma Hayes sounds about right. It's sad but true. It's the society we live in. I think you and I spoke about this. You're probably closer to seeing that happen here.
In Major League Soccer?
Major League Soccer in the United States.
We've had a close call, if you want to call it that. DC United interviewed Jill Ellis.
Correct,
yeah,
correct. Then it would happen in European football at the highest of levels, because I'm sure she's talking about the Premier League. Mm-hmm. I'm very positive that's where she's going with this. I don't think they are ready for that. It's a sad, cruel reality, but it is a reality, and Emma Hayes is right. I think Emma Hayes is a fantastic manager. Trust me, I've had some terrible managers. Mm-hmm. She would have been one of the top managers, absolutely. Just what you can see from afar. The tactical know-how, hearing how people respond to her, the players.
How would your locker rooms have reacted to it, though?
Different cultures, different eras, different setups. But she's right. I don't think we are anywhere close to it at the top leagues.
What do you think?
Well, I don't think we're close. And the reason we're not close is because people can't quite wrap their heads around it. And nobody wants to take that first step. Nobody wants to, because this is sort of, it's life altering. It's paradigm shifting sort of thing, sort of decision. And it's a risk. It really is a risk, because I think we can all agree that a locker room is a very fickle ecosystem. And it doesn't take much for the locker room to lose its shape and its balance. And this wouldn't be a minor deal. This would be a major deal. I understand what she's saying, that this has to come from the top. And yes, of course it does, as it always does. It has to be somebody who's in a decision-making position to take the chance and say, this is who I want in this position. But I slightly disagree with her in saying that the players will be all about it. I don't think, and I haven't been in a locker room, full disclosure, I haven't been in a locker room for a long time, but I still don't think that players are quite enamored with the idea or ready for the idea or even think about the idea. If you present it, maybe if you roll out a plan, maybe players can sort of wrap their heads around it and think that, yeah, this is something that could work. Where we currently are in society, I don't think, and she's right, I don't think the men's game is quite ready for it just yet.
We haven't seen a lot of examples of it, but there is one notable example in France. Corinne Diacre, who eventually ended up managing the women's national team, coached a second division team for, I think, like 3 years. Frank, what do you remember of that time? How was it received when she took that club over? I think it was Clermont, no?
Yes, Clermont-Ferrand. Surprisingly, it was well received, and it was kind of an experience, and he said, let's see how it works. And it worked very well. The first year she adapted. The second year she got results like Clermont-Ferrand never had at the time. Before, it was kind of a record. And she stayed the third one, and then she was picked by the French Federation to become the women national team coach. But she was unbelievable, and she was great, and she had the respect by all the players in the dressing room and the staff and everything, and it worked well. And we are talking about French, I'm sad to hear Emma Hayes saying that, because United States represents something that you can open up and develop in a way that, since we saw Barack Obama becoming the president of the United States, everything is possible. And it was a big hope to the world and a big example that everything is possible in the US. And knowing that, saying that it's not possible with women to be a coach of a male team, I'm sad about it. Because in France, where we live in a kind of misogynist world, it was opened up to women to experience, and it worked. So it's possible. I don't know why there isn't any other, because it is very positive, and I'm encouraging everybody to think that through. I would have never have any problem to be coached by a woman. Oh, yeah, and even more, I would have more respect to a woman than to a man, simply because she's a woman, because you have to respect a woman. And so it will create something special into the dressing room. So I think it's a very good idea to go further and our ideas and change something like that.
I think players would be curious, and they would be perhaps optimistic, but at the same time, when you go into that first training session, just like with any other manager, male or female, if this coach, whoever it may be, doesn't come across with ideas that are clear and ideas that you can actually buy into, and the message is clear, if there's any doubt whatsoever, I think they would be quicker to react and turn the page on a female coach than they would on a male coach. And look, this is society. This is not my version or my opinion. This is just the way that I sort of see things developing, in that players would be curious, would be optimistic. If the first session doesn't quite go the way that they wanted, or the messaging is not the way that they think it should be, now all of a sudden we have an issue, because there is a natural separation to begin with, and you somehow have to bridge that gap. Clarity in terms of what your ideas are, at the very least, is going to create respect. And if you create respect, then players can get behind it. If you don't do that, regardless of whether you're male or female, you're not going to be able to walk into a locker room and actually garner the attention of the players.